Yeah, thank you. So we have seen this up to here, right? This we have seen the no centroid of asymptote, and also
Sir,
the yeah
so this is Sri Chakra.
yeah Shri Chakra,
Sir, I have a small question in this.
root
This
locus.
yes, sir. This question, whatever we saw yesterday, one plus k into the
Okay,
question which is visible on the screen now.
okay, yeah, okay,
Can we discuss right now, sir?
yeah. Please, please. Why not? Please.
Sir, actually, when we plotted the roots and the zeros of this poles and zeros of this problem.
Let me get away clearly na, here itself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we have here. Let us plot the open loop transfer function. Let us plot the poles and zeros. So what is GSHS here, Shri?
K into 1 by s
Yeah,
plus 1 by s
GSHS is K upon S into S plus 1 and S plus
plus
2,
2.
right?
Yes,
So
sir.
the open loop poles are at 1 is at origin, 1
Yeah,
is at minus
minus
1,
1, 1 is at minus 2.
1 is at minus 2. Yeah,
Yes. So here my question is, we have learned till now is the loop when it or starts at a pole
open loop
pole
pole,
loop pole, it will terminate at a zero, no sir.
correct. Open loop 0,
Uh, yes, but here there are no zeros, so they all terminate at infinity, right?
where there will be zeros, open loop zeros.
Loop and
No finite open loop zeros are here.
yes, sir, they go at infinity where they're the open zeros, so they go and terminate there.
Correct, correct.
So here, when we pointed the direction of their origination at 0 and minus 1, how are you giving that directions they face opposite to each other, sir?
Okay, good. See here, for that, we know that there will be three root locus branch, each originating at a open
Okay.
loop pole when k is equal to what? 0,
0.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, Shri, we should identify which part of real axis will be no on root locus. Which region of real axis will be part of root locus? For
Yes.
that, points between 0 and minus 1, all of them will be on root locus.
Yes, sir.
So naturally, when all of them are on root locus, that means this branch that has originated here will be moving in this direction because these points are on root locus. Are these points on root locus
No, sir.
between minus 1 and minus 2? No.
No,
So
sir.
this branch has to move in this direction. This branch
Okay.
has to move in this direction, right?
So it
How
only
much
moves in the direction.
how much each branch covers, that will be obtained by breakaway points.
Okay, so it means that when we are giving the directions to the branches, we
Yeah,
have to see that whenever that particular branch lies in the like
real
main
axis.
path only, it will only travel in that direction. Otherwise, it won't travel, right, sir?
Correct, correct. Because this branch, because when we say no branch of root locus means possible locations, positions of roots of equation, characteristic equation, right?
Yes,
That
yes, sir.
means these all points have to be covered by root locus.
Yes,
When
sir.
branch is originating here, for these points to be covered in its vicinity, it has to move here, right?
Yes, sir.
This branch can't come into the vicinity of this pole
Yes, sir.
because all branches have to terminate at open loop 0, not at
Yes, sir.
any other open loop pole, right?
Yes, sir.
So naturally, they both start moving in their vicinity in this direction.
Yes, sir.
So angle of this is called as angle of departure. Next
Okay,
rule
sir.
today is angle of departure only. How we find out at what angle a branch will leave the point of origin. That is called angle of departure.
Okay. Sir, here
There,
the point of coincidence, why will it move towards the right? Why won't it move towards the left, sir?
which point of coincidence?
Like, for example, if these two branches try to meet at a point when they travel in opposite, we
Yeah,
saw that like breakaway point, break-in point,
yeah.
they move
Somewhere
towards,
here will be breakaway point.
yes, they move towards the right, no, sir. Leaving the real axis, they get
No,
into
no,
the,
no. Okay, let us plot this here itself. Okay, 1 minute. So how
yes,
many asymptotes will be here? There will be
three,
three asymptotes. What will
yes,
be
sir.
the angle given by? Angle is given by 2q plus 1 into 180 degree by what? and minus m. Right?
Yes, sir. We get three angles:
Yeah. What
60,
are they?
60, 180, and 300.
Very good. So when where is centroid minus sigma a?
At minus 1.
Minus. So obtain first asymptote at this 60 degrees. This is 60.
Yes, sir.
Then plot second asymptote. This is 180. And
Yes,
third
sir.
asymptote. This is 300.
Yes, sir.
So somewhere here, let us say, is the breakaway point that we can find out by dk by ds equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so one branch will move like this, right? Parallel to asymptote. Another branch will move parallel to this asymptote. So this is the arrow indicating the direction of progress of the branch.
Okay, like why won't they move in the left side direction, sir? Because we
Yeah,
think
yeah, because the asymptotes guide them, right? There is a
okay,
lengthy derivation actually, Shri, that also I will give you a small video.
okay, sir.
How we relate the direction of travel with asymptotes. For now, you gospel truth should be that the branches of root locus which move to infinity do so along the direction of asymptotes.
Okay, sir.
Asymptotes are guiding them in what direction they have to move towards infinity. And
Okay,
here you see one asymptote is in this direction, and always root locus branch will move parallel to asymptotes, right?
okay, sir.
Because they are
Okay,
the guide for them,
okay, sir.
right? There is no asymptote here, right? If there is some asymptote here in this direction, then this branch will go to following that asymptote. Branches will follow asymptotes,
Okay, sir.
right?
Okay, sir. Yes,
So very good. So that's what I hope it is clear, right? So three
yes, sir. It's clear.
branches, all the three branches are moving to what? Infinity.
Infinity. Yes, sir.
Okay, friends, now that we have started this question, I would wish we do one small part by which this root locus problem will be complete. Now here we know the root locus is entering into right half of the S-plane, right?
Yes, sir.
After some value of gain k. How root locus branch grow? They grow with increasing values of k.
A.
And for some particular value of k, they will meet in imaginary axis. And further increase in gain k, they will enter in right half of the S-plane. Now,
Yes, sir.
here is the question. We should find out the open loop gain k when the root locus meet imaginary axis and also the positions of the roots. How to do that? The question is here, at what gain k, at what gain k, question mark, and the corresponding roots, right, on imaginary axis. In this case, what are the corresponding roots on imaginary axis? At what gain k? How do we solve this? How do we determine these answers? For that, what we do, we now fall back on Raut criteria. For what? For determining at what gain the root locus meet imaginary axis and the corresponding positions of the roots on imaginary axis. For this, we need to take help of Raut criteria. Now, in Raut criteria, there is one difficulty number 2. When when a row becomes all zeros row, right? That particular difficulty will help us answer this question. So let us set ourselves for finding out the Raut's table for this. What will be Raut's table for this system here? It's a unity feedback system of which characteristic equation is directly given to you. So we require for Raut Harvit's criteria characteristic equation which is already available to us. So when we simplify this characteristic equation, what we will get? It will be S into S square. I am multiplying this and taking it to get multiplied with 1. S square plus 3s plus 2, right? Plus k equal
Yes, sir.
to 0. This will become the characteristic equation on simplifying,
Yes, sir.
or it will become nothing but s cube, right? Plus 3s square plus 2s plus k equal to 0, right? Am I right, friends?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see what will be the Raut's table for this. Now I need to get some space here first. That question, okay, it's there now, it's enough. So I want some space. Yeah, here we can do that. Yeah. Okay. Then here I want pencil. So what will be the routes table here, friends? Let me start here writing. What will be the first row of routes table corresponding to s to the power 3, right? This is k equal to 0, right? Yeah. So what will be the elements for s to the power 3 row? 1, then it will be 2, right? That's what. Then s to the power 2 row. What will be this? It will be 3
3,
and
2,
k.
yeah,
Then
k.
s to the power 1 row. It will be 6 minus k, right? 6 minus k by what? 3, right? And s to the power 0 row will be what? This into this minus 0 by this, it will be what? K. Am I right here, friends?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now in this case, what is difficulty 2, friends? You remember, did we introduce difficulty 2 in Rahout's array? Special case 2 or difficulty 2?
Yes, sir.
What is difficulty 2? Difficulty 2 talks about all zeros row. What it talks about? All zeros row. Now, where do you get all zeros row here? Here, if I put k equal to 6, if I put k equal to 6, what does row corresponding to s to the power 1 becomes?
0.
S to the power 1 becomes what? All
0.
zeros row, because there
Yes.
is only one element and that itself is becoming 0,
Yes, sir.
right? So it satisfies difficulty 2, right? It is a eligible valid case to be considered as difficulty 2. Now for all zeros row, what we do? We construct auxiliary equation. What is auxiliary equation? Row just above all zeros row leads us to auxiliary equation. And
Yes.
what is that? It will be 3s square plus k. K is what? 6 equal to 0. This is auxiliary equation, right?
Yes, sir.
And what
Be
will be,
differentiated.
yeah, and what will be its solution here? Solution of this auxiliary equation will be what? S square is minus 2, right? S
Yes,
square
sir.
is minus 2, or S is equal to what? S
Plus or minus
plus or minus J
root.
root 2,
Yes, sir.
because it's minus, S square is minus 2. So under root minus will be always J. So plus minus J root 2 becomes the solution, right?
Yes, sir.
So here we have got the answer. When this was your root locus, right? It was moving like this, and another branch was moving like this. One branch was going there, right? Somewhere here you had, right? No? So this branch was here, this branch was here, that branch is going to infinity. So this branch is going to infinity with k equal to infinity. This branch is progressing to infinity with k progressing to infinity. So at what value of gain k are the branches hitting imaginary axis? What is the value of gain k when these two branches meet imaginary axis? Because these are what? These are nothing but what? Points on imaginary axis,
Yes, sir.
and that are nothing but imaginary poles. So when k is equal to 6, when k is equal to 6, what are the corresponding roots? The corresponding roots are plus
Plus or minus j root 2.
This is on negative imaginary axis, minus j root 2. This intersection point is on positive imaginary axis. This is plus j root 2. And the corresponding gain k at which they become imaginary is given by what? K equal to 6. So did I answer you here, friends, above questions, how to find out gain k and the corresponding roots on j imaginary axis?
Yes, sir.
By starting with Raoult's table. Raoult's table requires characteristic equation and then obtaining all zeros row for some value of k, right? And always remember your auxiliary equation will be a even term of s. The highest power will be even term of even power of s. S to the power 2, s to the power 4. Why is it will be always like this? Because difficulty 2 points to presence of symmetrical roots. Difficulty 2 points to what? Existence of symmetrically lying roots. Symmetrically lying roots. What is symmetrically lying roots? Either they are no symmetrical with respect to what? Real axis. Symmetrical with respect to real axis means what? If I have space here, yes, if one root is here for some gain k, there will be a conjugate pair here, right, Shri? If it is symmetrical with imaginary axis,
Yes,
if it is symmetrical with imaginary axis, then for this root there will be a companion in the right half of the S-plane, right? For this root,
yes,
there
sir.
will be a companion in the right half of the S-plane.
Yes.
So these two form symmetrical with imaginary axis. Similarly, these two form symmetrical with imaginary axis, whereas these two form symmetrical with what? Real axis.
Real axis.
Right? Here in our case, the roots are symmetrical with real axis. They are lying where? On imaginary axis, right? They are at equal distance with real axis on imaginary axis, right? So so difficulty 2 indicates presence of what? Symmetrically lying roots. And here in this case, this is how we found out the point of intersection and the corresponding roots with help of what? Raoult's array, right? Another larger question is here. Can you tell me what should be the range on gain k for me to keep closed loop system stable? Because once branches enter in the right half, then what happens? For all those values of k, when branches are in the right half, it indicates
they become
an unstable system, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the range of gain k for which system is stable?
0 to
as
6.
Roots are in the left half. So
yes.
k has to be greater than 0 or less than what? 6. This gives you what? Range of k for which system is stable. And for all values of gain k greater than 6, it will be what? Unstable. Right?
Yes, sir.
Good, very good. So we addressed this question also here. Now let us move on. I hope it's clear to everyone. Ben, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so let us move to next part. It takes little time. I'm not sitting with no separate mouse. That will be fast. Now on Saturdays, I am at home only. College for us is Monday to Friday. Earlier, I was on Saturday in college. Okay, friends. So, okay, then this break-in point is clear, Shri?
Yes, sir, they are clear.
We last time were struggling with finding out the value of k, no, such that we know what will be the break, at what k the branches break away and at what k branches break in. Here, for certain k, branches break away from real axis, and for another some higher value of gain k, branches enter real axis. So that we solve by making use of what? dk by ds equal to what? 0. So you will get that, right? Later we have solved that, Ben and me. There is no confusion. Can you help us, Ben, quickly here? What will be the values of gain k at which we get breakaway point? What is the equation, Ben? Do you have that with you, Page?
Yes, sir.
So when we substitute here, when we substitute uh,
We
k,
get
what is
that
k?
minus of s square plus 3s plus 2.
Okay, you are telling me that equation. What is
Yes.
equation?
K equal to minus
Okay, we solved that equation. Okay, tell me k equal to minus of
s square plus 3s plus 2.
all in bracket
Yes, sir.
3s plus 2 divided by.
By s square minus 8s plus 15.
Okay, so what we do here, we differentiate k with s, right? And
Yes,
equate
yes, sir.
this to 0, right?
Yes.
This, how do we get this, friends? Those who have not joined last class, how do we get this? We get this by constructing 1 plus what this? gs hs equal to 0, right? In that there will be k, and then gs hs is here, right? What is gs hs here? Quickly, k, how many zeros are there? One is at 3, so it will be s minus 3 factor. Another is at 5,
S minus
so
5.
it's s minus 5. And how many
S
poles
plus
are
1.
there? At minus 1, so it will be s plus 1. Another pole is at minus 2, so factor
S
will be s
plus 2.
plus 2. So this
Yes.
is GSHS. Put this here in 1 plus GSHS and then rearrange terms. You will get k. Then take derivative of k with s, equate it to 0. Now what we get, Ben, here? Quadratic equation.
11s square minus 26s minus 61
Equal to
equal to
0.
0.
Right? So here when you use that rule, quadratic equation, minus b will be plus 26 plus minus under root of b square, that will be 20, sorry, yeah, b square, it will be 26 square, minus 4 into a is 11, into c is what? Minus 61. That day we were taking 61, so c is minus 61, so minus into minus will be what? Plus here. So all the terms in under root is what? Plus, so there is no question of it becoming imaginary, right? So when you solve this, you get real roots. And what are the two roots, Ben?
One is 3.816,
3.816, and another is
other is minus 1.452.
minus 1 point.
452.
So this minus 1.452 is the breakaway point, right? This is the breakaway point. And right, value of k minus 1.452 at, this is not s. Is this s, Ben? This is the value of, no, this is s.
This is S only, sir.
Breakaway point, not k. We are finding out breakaway point. Breakaway point is giving s values only, right?
Yes.
At what gain they break away, that is again another question, right? But this is the point on real part where the two branches now leave real axis. And this is what your break in point. Break in point is what? 3.816, right? This is 3.816. Sorry, 3.816 here. Right, friends? And when, can you tell me how will you find out k at these points?
We substitute S and get the value of K.
Very good. You already have k in terms of s, right?
Yes.
So when you put s equal to minus 1.452, you get k when it is breaking away branches. And when you put s equal to 3.816 here, you get k at which branches are entering, re-entering the real axis, right? Any questions here? Good. So I think we can now introduce angle of departure, next rule. Angle of departure becomes more important when you have complex roots. We have not seen so far any complex roots, right? Complex poles of open loop system, right, Ben? What we have seen are the open loop poles when they are all real, right?
Yes, sir.
But what if you have open loop poles which are no complex? Let us see that. Next is rule number 7, angle of departure. Okay. So now here you see you have some plot given to you here. Okay. Actually, I wanted to have that problem also. I thought it is there. Okay, no worries. Now see, friends, we have a plot of open loop poles and zeros. So crosses indicates open loop poles, and O's or circles indicates what? Open loop zeros. Now here, how many branches of root locus will be there? Yes, friends.
3.
There are 3 open loop poles, so there will be 3
Branches.
root locus branches, each
Yes.
starting at what? K equal to 0. Each branch will start at
K
K equal to 0 at a open loop pole.
Yes.
Okay. Now, which part of real axis lies on root locus? Here, on the right hand side, right, of this 0, there is no open loop pole and 0. So none of these points on real axis constitute on root locus. Only this region between this 0 and this pole, the real axis points will lie on what? Root locus. So the branch that generates here will terminate here. Could you make it out, Shri? Whereas these points on real axis, they will not lie on root locus.
Yes.
Because to the right there are 2 open
Even
loop
number.
poles and zeros, which is a
Yes.
even number.
Yes, sir.
So the branch that originates here for K equal to 0 terminates at this with K equal to infinity, right? This is a short-lived branch, right? Originating here, terminating here. Whereas
Yes.
these 2 branches, we have to see where it will go. So naturally, there will be 2 asymptotes here, right? How many asymptotes will be here? 2, which will be guiding n minus m branches, which are 2, to move towards what? Infinity. All those things we know. Now comes the question how to find at what angle this branch will depart the point. Now for that, what we do, we take
Sir, asymptotes will be 0, no, sir, because there are 3 poles and 3 zeros also, sir.
Oh, I did not see this. Actually, you are correct. Because these 2 are also zeros, right?
Yes, sir.
So I
So
did not
3
saw that.
minus
Sorry,
3.
sorry. There are 3 open loop zeros and 3 open loop poles. So there will be no asymptotes. Good, very good. Right. Thanks for correcting me. Okay, now now our job here is to find out first angle of departure, right, friends? Now, what we do to find out angle of departure, here the picture that it is showing is for angle of arrival, right? This epsilon is angle of arrival. I wanted angle of departure first. I took a wrong picture or what? Yeah, I took a wrong picture, I think. Yeah, here is that angle of departure here. Okay, let us come to this first. But yeah, let us keep this as a problem for us first. Okay, friends. Now, let me set it clear. Angle of departure will be for open loop pole and angle of arrival will be for open loop zeros, right? Because branches arrive at open loop zeros for increasing values of K and terminate there, right? Now, here you see we have a open loop plot of poles and zeros, right? Plot of open loop poles and zeros. Now we have 3 poles and 1, 0. This is what was in my mind, right? When I started talking. So there will be two asymptotes here, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, before that, what we want to know, what happens to the root locus branches which are originating at this complex poles, because there are two open loop complex poles in this no example, right, which we have not seen before. So each branch will terminate at a open loop pole, right, which are three in this case, three branches. This branch ends at open loop 0 with k equal to infinity. What happens to these two branch is the question. Now, what I do, I take some point in the vicinity. Let us say I take some point in this vicinity of open loop pole, okay, and join all the open loop poles and zeros to that point of interest P taken in the vicinity of this open loop pole, right? So when I join this uh, um, open loop pole, let us say there is some angle epsilon made by open loop pole at that point of interest, whereas what will be the angle made by other open loop poles and zeros at that point P? Now that will be nothing but, for example, the angle made by this pole, right? When you join this pole to the point of interest will be theta 2 only. Though theta 2 is the angle made by this pole with no line joining this open loop pole, not point P. But since P is said to be in the neighborhood, immediate neighborhood, very close to this, so the line joining open loop pole will be as good as line joining to that point P. This angle theta 2 will be more or less same. Same will be for angle theta 3 and theta 4. Do you agree with me here, Shri, what I am saying? I am taking point P, though I am showing you here that it is this as point P. The angle made by this is epsilon, by this open loop pole, right?
Yes, sir.
But this P is so close to this open loop pole that for other poles and zeros, it is as good as, instead of joining to P, you can join directly to this open loop pole, because it's in the immediate no vicinity of the open loop pole at this. What is this pole, by the way, friends? What is position of this pole? -1 minus J1, right? The real part is -1, imaginary part is minus J1.
J1.
What
Yes,
is
sir.
what is this pole? -1, sorry, this is plus
Upper
J1
is plus.
on positive imaginary axis. This is -1 minus J1, right? So the pole at -1 plus J1, right? Whatever is the angle that other poles will make to by joining to point P will be as good as the angle they will make by joining them to what? -1 plus J1. This you have to understand. Okay, friends? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then we have this rule. We know that what will be the total angle at point P for it to be on root locus, right? Sum of all angles, right, by open loop poles and open loop zeros, right? Sum of all angles at point in complex plane, right, should be what? A odd multiple of what? 180 degree, right? Yes or no from angle criteria. Then let us find out here what is this going to be. Yes, so what is the angle made at point P by the complex pole -1 plus J1? What is the angle made? Yes, it will be minus epsilon, right? Or let me call it, it is some angle epsilon, right? Okay, what will be angle made by this pole with P? I will take that as minus theta 2. What will be angle made by this 0 at P? It will be plus theta 3. What will be of this pole at P? It will be minus theta 4. And sum of these angles, right, will be equal to what? A odd multiple of 180 degrees. in this summation of angles made by open loop poles and zeros, for poles I am taking positive, negative. You can see the angles made by what poles in the summation, I am writing them with minus sign. Whereas angle made by zeros, I am writing in summation with what? Positive sign. Because zeros are in what? Numerator. So total angle contributed by them will be positive. Whereas angle made by poles will be what? Negative, right? You agree with me here?
Yes,
If
sir.
you, yeah, if you have something like this, R1 at an angle theta 1, right? By R2 at an angle of theta 2, right? When we find total angle theta for this complex value, what it will be? It will be sum of angles such that theta 1 minus theta 2, right? The angles made by denominator factors will be making a positive, negative contribution in the summation. The same thing here, right? Poles are in denominator. So their angles will be what? Making a negative no contribution, right, in the summation, and with zeros it will be what? Positive sign. So what will be angle epsilon here? Angle epsilon is called as angle of departure because P is in the immediate neighborhood of this, and for it to be on root locus, right, this should be satisfied, this angle criteria, sum of angle at that point to be odd multiple of 180 degree. And from this, what will be this equal to? Yes, 180 into 2q plus 1 minus what? Sum of angle made by poles, right? Minus what? Sum of angles, right? Of zeros minus sum of, yes friends, angles of poles, right? So in this case, what it will be, guys? Now we need here a calculator to find out all these angles. What is theta 2 here equal to? Let us work it out. First of all, tell me, is it clear till now here? Ben,
Yes, sir.
any question? Pratik, are you joining today? No. Shri, any question?
No, sir.
Okay, then let us proceed. Okay. Now here in this case, what is theta 2, friends? 90 degrees,
90
right?
degrees.
It is just vertically down, right? -1, at both are having same real intercept, huh? So it will be 90 degrees. What will be theta 3? Who will tell me theta 3? Theta 3 will be what? Tan inverse of this by adjacent. What is opposite of this? What is this opposite, friends? What is opposite side to theta 3,
1
friends? 1. And what is adjacent side? Length.
minus
Length. Side means length. What is adjacent
1.
side? 1. Make this triangle, right? So in this triangle, what is this? 45 degrees. Tan inverse of 1 is what? 45 degrees, right? So you know theta 3 also, right? You know theta 2, you know theta 3. And what is theta 4? Quickly, tan inverse of theta 4. So you take this triangle, this complete, right? Vertical is still 1. Opposite side is still 1. And what is adjacent side for theta 4? 1 plus 1, that is 2. So tan inverse of 0.5 is how much? Can you quickly tell me, someone?
40.
Yes.
26.56.
Pardon?
26.56.
So that is theta 4, right? Now let us find out angle epsilon, which is I am calling as angle of departure. So what it will be? Yes, friends. 180 degree, right? Into that odd multiple minus this. Yeah. So which are zeros here? There is only one zero. That is making an angle of how much? Theta 3, and that is 45 degrees. So it will be 45 in summation minus sum of poles. So this pole is making 90 degree, right? So already minus I have taken here. So 90 degree. Another pole is making how much? 26 degree. So what is this answer equal to? 180, right? कि let us keep it 180 only. कितना आएगा? 180 से कम ही आ रहा है ना? Yeah. So minus. Then how much is this? Can you tell me quickly? 90 plus 20, 110, 116. 45 minus 116 is how much? 45 minus 116
Minus 71.
minus
71.
minus 71.
Final answer is 251.
Final answer is how much?
251.
251. Right?
Yes.
So 251 will be how much? Here it will be somewhere here. It is 180, right? This much. And this is 270. So somewhere here will be 251. It will be like this. So this is that angle, right? This is that angle. This angle, right? The angle of departure here comes out to be for 251. Let us think everything is correct only, right? We have put it correctly only. So what we are doing, total has to be this much. So in this total, it should be what? Minus the angle made by open loop poles and zeros. So zeros are making positive and poles are making negative, right? Everything is correct. Okay, 251. Let us go with this. Okay, friends, remember. So that is what is coming out to be, right, friends? Now, let us see. Let us solve this problem. We are left with few minutes, right? Let us quickly see.
Sir,
Symmetry
we
will
get the
tell.
opposite sign, no, sir.
Pardon?
Here, when we generalize the formula for epsilon
Hmm.
to the left bottom corner, epsilon equal to 180 degrees into 2q plus 1 minus
Mhm.
of the whole bracket.
Hmm.
There, that equation will be equal to minus epsilon, no, sir, according to the previous line.
Angle should be equal to what?
The entire
Minus epsilon.
equation,
Uh-huh.
it will be equal to minus epsilon as per the previous equation.
So yeah. That minus sign somewhere I missed it, huh? Okay, just we will hold on to this. Okay, let us see what are our asymptotes, huh? That will help us further, consolidate. Just hold on to that. 2 minutes. Now here, what are the angle of asymptote? You keep this answer recorded with you. It will be either plus 251 or minus 251, right? I have a little doubt. So let us quickly see what are the asymptotes. If you are telling minus 251 Ben, then in that case, what I am showing here is correct. Na? Angle of departure. Minus 251 means it will go in clockwise, right? When you are taking minus angle. So this is 270 and here it will come as this. Yeah, correct. In that case,
Yes,
correct. Yeah, correct, Ben. Very good. It should be minus 251 only. Huh? Understand, friends? Minus 251 means you are going in no clockwise direction, right? Opposite to what angle you measure. Positive direction of angle you measure with positive real axis, right? So that will be in anti-clockwise. Here it will be minus 251 means this much. So summation will be equal to this. Okay, but we have to generalize the formula that I have to tell you for that. Now let me get that. I will clarify it, clear it. But before that, yeah. Now, how many asymptotes are here, Ben?
One, sir.
Why one, Ben? How many? What is n minus m? N minus m is the number of asymptotes, right? N is number of
Yes.
poles, that is
There are
3.
two, sir.
Yeah, asymptotes are 2, right? So n is 3, m is 1. So there are 2 asymptotes. And what are the direction of asymptotes, Ben? Quickly, before we run out of time. Yes. Angle of asymptotes, right? Phi A. It is given by what? Yes. 180 degree into 2q plus 1 divided by what? N minus m, right? Where q runs from 0, 1 dash dash up to n minus m minus 1. And this is 180 into 2q plus 1 divided by n minus m is 2. That is, it becomes 90 into 2q plus 1. So here q will run up to what? M minus 1. N minus m is 2. 2 minus 1 is what? 1. So for q equal to 0, you get 90. For q equal to 1, you get what? 270, right? Okay. And there is minus sigma a here. Yes. Real parts of poles. What are real parts of poles, friends? Yes. You can hear some approaching train, right? Okay. So what is real parts of poles? Minus 3.
-1, -1, -3.
Yeah, minus 3, minus 1, minus 1. Very good. Minus sum of real parts of zeros, right? In the
Minus 2.
formula for sigma, it will become plus
Minus
2, right?
Yes, sir.
By n minus m, right? By what? What is the formula, friends? Sum
3
of
minus 1.
yeah, that is 2, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it becomes minus 5 plus 2. That is how much? Minus 3 by 2. So it is minus 1.5, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
somewhere here is minus 1.5, right? So you have this, right? So what are the angle of asymptotes? One is what? 90 degree, right? Another, this is what? 90 degrees. And another is what? 270 degrees, right? This is what? 270 degrees, right? So friends, this is how it goes. So when corrected as this root locus branch, it will be moving across what? This asymptote. And at what direction it leaves this origin, place of birth? At an angle of minus 251. That comes out to be what? This. Okay. Yes or no? So it moves like this. This is how it goes. It goes like this, right? It goes parallel. And so it is what? Parallel to what? Your asymptote. Similarly, this branch in symmetrical position, here it was minus 251, right? Here it will be what? Plus 251, right? Plus 251 will be this angle of departure. This angle of departure will be plus 251 here, right? Here angle of departure was what? Minus 251, right? So this root locus branch will leave this and follow this in this direction. Could you understand this here, Shri?
Yes, sir. So we find the angle of departure for the poles which are not on the real axis, no, sir?
Yeah, correct. Which are complex pole. We should know in what direction, no, immediately they leave that
Okay.
original place.
Okay.
And let me generalize that by the time we meet in next class, that formula. Every time we need not find like this, okay? You understood how we generalize, right? By taking that angle epsilon, as Ben pointed, that minus sign I should have accounted, we would have arrived at the correct process, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us stop here, friends. We will have one example on root locus, small example in next class that will clear us with these details. and few concepts on root locus which are pending, and we will move immediately with frequency domain analysis for stability. Root locus is in time domain analysis. We will end time domain analysis here with root locus, and we will move to frequency domain analysis in next class. A small video I will upload telling you about how asymptotes and root locus branches are related. Thank you.